Vikings want to try to get a little bit of some counter pick here. I think it makes sense. Coach SOFM standing behind his players. Okay, so Senna banned, Lissandra and Annie. We're just going for Kalix picking up his LeBlanc. Okay.
All right, right off the bat, looking to play fast and play aggressive with this pick, but the Vikings going to get a pretty powerful top laner of their own, Kratos. I like to see him in the carry role, and 3 series today, everybody. 3 Lee Sins. They haven't won today.
Why are we picking Lee Sin, guys? Surely Xin Zhao did not get nerfed that hard. Surely Wukong is still in the game, guys. Like, we have all of these champions. You still have, like, Pantheon and Nocturne. I know the Pantheon is getting nerfed repeatedly, but I still think this champion just gives you so much. All right, well, now you just get counterpicked. Like, we're blinding Mbessa when there is still things like a Scion, things like a Renekton still up and available. So what are we getting for this counterpick as MGN Vikings? What are we looking for here? Like, are we seeing if we can get something for Shulong? Are we maybe looking for Style, who we didn't even talk about? He is stepping in for this game over Shogun.
Oh, yeah. So Style's in. And we get our second Malzahar in the tournament. I want to throw up saying that out loud. Damn, Style. Nice hair. How long does that take to pop up?
Too long.
Too long. Too long. Too long unless Shulong helps.
There you go. So second phase of bans. I mean, Vikings have chosen basically their lanes in order here. They have top jungle mid, and I think you're trying to play Malzahar into LeBlanc. The lane will be a little bit difficult, but in theory, as the game goes on, if LeBlanc goes forward, you can kind of just stop them. You can also do that to Renekton as well. I think the theory is good, but whether or not they're going to be able to execute is another thing.
Yeah, execution, always the winner over draft strategy. Alistair, Kalista, Lucian Poppy. So Sivir going to come in for Style into his first game here of the Asia Invitational. What does Jiwoo and Lehends want to play? Okay, I was thinking they might go for something. I guess there aren't a lot of really aggro picks left. Lucian and Kalista are the 2 ones that you would think about. Couple interesting hovers here. Jiwoo, I mean, looked pretty good on the Kaisa, these hypermobile champions. Zeri can be very fun in that aspect. Gotta start thinking about pairings, though, for Lehends. I don't know if this comp can dictate, like, a Lulu angle.
I think Lulu is fine. Like, Lulu with the polymorph and her ultimate versus Lee Sin and Mbessa, I think is actually pretty reasonable. Again, you also have a Wukong, so you can kind of play off that. Same thing with Renekton. I think it's a fair shout for Lehends if he really wants to go for it. They do need a little bit of engage, so thinking about how the Vikings do want to kind of go forward, they are giving counter pick over to Shulong.
Wow.
This is going to be into a Blitzcrank.
Oh, please don't Sivir Pike. That's like mixing oil with water. That's also like mixing. Listen, Shulong, Pike player, likes to be aggro with these Elise picks, but if we're going to do this, why did we pick Sivir?
I think it's fine. Like,
okay.
I have been one of the biggest proponents that Sivir can actually be a bit of a lane bully, especially if you're going to fight in the mini wave on level 1. She has all of the boomerang blades. She's going to be able to clear the wave and hit you at the same time. The Q also at level 1 and very early on does a lot of damage, so I think you can actually take the enemy bot lane to task. And Elise, while I think it's cute to play into Lehends, you have a lot of different angles to be able to stop the Blitzcrank hook. The Spiderlings, the Repel, there's a lot of ways we could see this 2v2 actually go in favor of Vikings. I kind of like where their draft ended up. I just don't like the self-counter pick to start off the draft. And this is another scenario where I need to see the Vikings do something. They've definitely given themselves a lot more damage here in this game. But do you want to take a low and slow approach versus Nongshim? I don't think that's the recipe here.
At least it's not all the eggs in the AD carry basket for this game, right? With the Mbessa top side, playing with this Sivir. There is, multiple damage threats that will come out here in this game for Vikings. It's just still a tough task to try and overcome the form that Nongshim are currently in by this point. And I also think Kalix might just run wild. I think that on this LeBlanc. I think this is a... if you saw DK Showmaker LeBlanc, We might be in for a similar sort of style. It is funny, though, that speaking of Showmaker, the 2 champions he's played in the ASI so far are actually matching up in this game, too.
Ah, look at that. That's awesome. Oh, I saw my brother, I saw Guo there predicting for the Vikings to win. All right, let's see if he is lying or not.
Okay. Always right or lying, so there's no real room for error there. We're back out onto the Rift. It looks like safe and sound here. Game number 2, potentially our final game of day 2 here. If Nongshim come away with a 2-0 win over the 5th seed representative of the LCP in Vikings Esports. Oh, yeah,
hey!
I love this. We're having fun.
Let's go.
Dance.
Okay, clap. That's all Ambessa does here with their when you spam the emote like this. I'm glad that they're emoting. Kingen's also been known to have a little bit of fun, so very, very nice to see 2 representatives here.
Come on, guys,
I wanted to talk
get on the
about
dance party. Oh, Kalix, that's an
dumb
auto,
map.
bro. Kalix.
Oh, that's
This
2
is
autos.
BM.
He has the electrocute. He's going for the 3rd one. Okay, so there's already too much time in between. Didn't get the electrocute proc
That's
off there.
BM. Oh, okay, Cocoon. It's a boomerang start. No spiderlings. Shulong is just going to, repel on out of there. So, hey, you know what?
Electrocute ignite.
Easy peasy.
All right. So, stuff to think about in this game. Priority should go over to the Vikings as they get their recalls in. It is significantly...
Oh, that was blind. Ignite, though, Cocoon turned back on Lehends. Style trying to use every auto he can, get out of those boomerangs, lethal tempo, good flash at the end. Style's going to take a turret shot. That's pretty bad, but Jiwoo not going to punish it too heavily here. Lehends is going to have to take a reset.
GIDEON skipping his camp. He's just going for this. Yeah, look at where the wave is right now. They can't step back up. It's going to be a 2v2 here. Style has his flash, Shulong as well.
They're not going to get level 2 in time, off the wave. Oh, good flash away from the Cocoon. GIDEON goes after Style, flash, but match, and there's the staff bap down. Shulong also having a flash for insurance. Very rare to see a Wukong forced out of his clear early, but GIDEON makes it work.
Yeah, he gets first blood. Now he's going to... Does he just go for the Krugs? That seems like that's going to be the case. So Wukong's going to be a little bit delayed in his clear. Gury already hitting his 4th camp of the game, but helping out his bottom lane in particular. And that was solo golden experience as well going over to GIDEON.
Yeah, no assist there for Jiwoo, but just pressure alleviated, right? Gets himself a comfortable reset. So back towards the grind of cutting down these camps for GIDEON. Let's see what Gury could do with it. This is definitely a window, regardless of what happened to the bot side, where Lehends should be a lot more active on the map.
For sure. Okay. So Lehends can be an early aggressor. He does have, obviously, a lot of early trading that he can get down. But the lanes are really, really tricky to gank right here because you're playing into Blitzcrank and a and a Zeri, so the odds that you really want to go in versus that combo is a little less enticing. Mid lane's also kind of a role where you have a Malzahar pre-6. I don't think we're going to be seeing too much action. I think what Lehends' job here in this game is, unironically, he's just playing keep away. He's just there to protect his lanes, give themselves some more explosive 2v2s in the mid game, and then use the ultimate to hopefully kick away any stragglers or enemies that are looking for stuff.
Wrapping around towards his bot lane tier 1 turret. Sonic Wave going to land. Lehends trying to play bodyguard. Ward hop to try and get it slow. I don't know if they can get Shulong and Style close enough to make this anything further. Good field goal there from Lehends. Splits the 2 uprights for that hook. Just getting Jiwoo off the wave here. They're trying to starve experience and such.
All right, GIDEON's really paid this game. Gets the first kill of the game. Now he gets respawn Raptors. Kratos has to be careful because very quickly I think Kingen could turn this matchup. And it's not going to be on this wave, but potentially the next one, depending on what Kratos does here. There could be an angle where Kingen either TP's back or they look for something after this scuttle. And could be that Kratos loses a summoner spell.
I have to track that. GIDEON going to take the reset, though. Drake up in about 25 seconds here. Jiwoo going to get himself set for a reset as well. I wonder if potential swap could be coming out here from Nongshim if they could time up these resets. It looks like Kingen would be in a decent spot to get one off of his own, and if they want to prioritize grubs for the Renekton and even the LeBlanc, this would be a good time to get the swap going. Synced recalls.
Yes, let's see if they go for it. Zeri versus
Nope.
Ambessa is like kind of interesting, but
Immediate
I think we're
TP
gonna
back.
see too much of it. Yeah. Also want to note, this is technically Kalix's first LeBlanc this entire year. Hasn't been able to pull it out. Last time we saw it was in LCK Challengers. Was playing into a Scion mid, which I think is very funny. But he's doing very well for himself in this lane. This is the problem for the MGN Vikings is we don't have very many ways of getting priority early, and mid lane is not a matchup that's very fun for Kati. So if he can just survive for the time being, it's fine.
Oh, it's actually Style and the Vikings that are looking for the swap here. Gideon looking for a mid lane find. Is going to only find Gury, who throws down a decent amount of damage, gets the Conqueror procced. So the Vikings making this swap. What do we make of this? Trying to get maybe rid of some pressure for Style in the lane, or the Vikings saying, hey, Grubs are going to be our priority here going forward?
I think that's more so the case. They want to see if they can get early in. You see that Gury is walking into enemy wolves. Also does have Shulong within touching distance soon. It should be really difficult because Kingen shouldn't be able to get onto Style, but I don't think Style, unless there's a pretty massive mistake coming in from the Renekton, he actually pops the Dominus thinking that they were going to walk into blind on him. So saves his jungler his camps, but doesn't get much off of that. And I think this is a pretty big advantage now for Vikings. I don't think they can go for a dive, but this is just free time for the Sivir.
Level 1 ultimate too for Kingen. I don't know if that comes up. Grubs, you should have a backup. So if a Grubs fight comes along, but
yeah,
they're not going to force a dive here either. So yeah, Kingen, just like you mentioned, pressure, and well, there goes half his health bar. So
okay, well maybe if he trades like that, then sure. But
yeah.
Looks like they're gonna go back for the swap. It's gonna be the teleport coming in from Lehends. They are a little late to this if we're talking about setup around this objective. It's Scuttle going over to Gury. They seem like they want to try to go for a dive. Zeri is gonna be on her way, but at the very least for the Vikings, ooh, nice job from Lehends.
Guess what, bro? Nether Grasp. Outplay button for Kati, and that's going to get Style the kill.
Okay, Vikings get their first kill. It's also a turret play going over to them. Good opener here from Vikings. Better play coming on through, especially with Style in the lineup. Doesn't seem like Jiwoo is starved all that much. He misses about a wave and a half when we talk about prior timings here. But will also mean that the Vikings will not be in position for the grub spawn here. Gideon got to clear some of his camps, got to take, I think, a better base here, and now we talk about this objective. There's going to be no ultimate for Kati in this one. I think if you are Nongshim, you're saying, fine, come fight us. If you don't have that ultimate, we are way stronger than you are.
Maybe Gury tries to get cheeky with a steal here to ward hop out if he wants to. He knows these grubs are going down. Going to finish his red buff off now, but Shulong showing on the bot side. Yeah, Gury just has to going to clear his camps out here, and Lehends may make that a bit of a problem nonetheless. Hex Flash available. Jiwoo also has that Lightning Crash if he wants, but Gury's going to re-engage. There's a Lightning Crash out of Jiwoo. Lehends is only level 4. Knockup doesn't matter. Kratos has more than enough damage to get things done. Gideon over the wall. Maybe looking for a Cyclone angle. It's just Jiwoo min-maxing his damage, and Lehends kind of let out of position once again.
Okay. So the problem here is that, like, I don't think that Vikings are advancing the game all that much. Shulong.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Kingen. He saw the repel early from Shulong, and just no mercy from the Croc here. It's the on the hunt speed up and goes to get Style away from a really obvious double kill for Kingen.
Oh, Kratos trying to find the ultimate here. Jiwoo.
Jiwoo has flash. He's waiting for Gideon, who's going to show up here. Flash forward. Oh, the Cyclone interrupt was perfectly timed there from Gideon. Jiwoo lays a precise trap there.
Wow. He loses both of his summoner spells. That was Ghost and Flash being gone here. Kingen finds the kill under the turret.
Oh, I thought he got out.
Okay, well, at least they got the wave in under the turret. Shulong does get local experience for being around that play. Gury is going to try and steal away a camp, gets another Raptor camp taken away. He's going to be the first dragon of the game, taken at 10 minutes here in our game number 2. And while Nongshim are finding individual outplays, oh my god!
Flash outplay button, and the clone can't save Kalix. Man, Kati is really skill expressive on this champion right now. Picks up his first kill.
Let's go. Okay.
That's a skill expressive you get on Malzahar, by the way, folks. Flash ulting. That's the end of the skill expression on this champion.
Hell yeah. Okay. I mean, we saw from Showmaker, he didn't have to do much in that series versus JDG, to be fair.
You're not wrong.
Sometimes the simplest option just happens to be the best. Something Occam's razor. I don't really know. But I mean, aside, again, I think that Nongshim were winning out on some of these trades, but the map has been struggling to develop. I know that I had at first given Vikings the benefit of the doubt here, but I think that Nongshim needed to push the pace early on. Now we have a Malzahar who has an individual lead in the lane. You have the Sivir, who is always going to make it very easy for them to clear minion waves and be able to move into Fog of War. So what else can we see from the Vikings? Can they actually push beyond what is, for expectations, supposed to be a loss here today and maybe get us to a game number 3?
We'll have to see. It's a lot about the execution of these fights that Nongshim have been so pristine in nonetheless. And they do have the grubs to kind of sack up a lot of experience. Public execution, though, down on to Kingen. Does have the dominance. Going to pop it now. Look to stack up that rage bar. Shulong holding on to the repel. Will cast it. Kratos trying to play around that rage bar. Heal the Call of the Meek, though. Gets Shulong. It will be a trade, though. But Kingen is making it very difficult to kill him off skirmish after skirmish.
I mean, 2v1, he is making it happen. Does it in the bot side, goes top lane, even does it a second time here to really prove his stuff. But all in all, look at what's happening on the map. And Bessa doesn't even finish this turret. She's going to have to go bot side to help Kati pick up this next minion wave. Jiwoo, while all this is happening, is going to get himself at least a single plate for himself in this lane. 125 gold plus this next minion wave and has Cole here. Lehends should be able to get away.
All right.
But this is a really good play here coming on through, and I think Nongshim are getting away with a lot because mechanically I think some of their laners are outplaying their opponents.
Gold lead in control of the Vikings for the time being, and a lot of that in, well, kind of the support matchup, so it does feel a little bit fake, but at least does bring an extra burst potential towards the Vikings. But this is another comp that is somewhat on a timer with its playmaking, I want to say. Lee Sin and Elise are super mid-game focused champions, so Vikings need to keep the pedal to the metal. Problem is, they've always been looking for Kingen, who has always made it at least a trade. All right, the alcove is just a reset here for Gury. Oh, he's gonna try and work his way towards the brush, but the ward is going to spot it here for Kingen. He does not have dominance, though, so he can't use that ability to outplay a dive. But here we go. His third time the charm. Kick, Sonic Wave. There's the execute coming across. Kratos, yep, is going to be fine. So finally, the Vikings find a 2v1 kill and not a trade.
And Nongshim a little slow on the crackback here. They're pushing through bottom side. I mean, that was a timer where Jiwoo was recalling, so they get not only a mid-tier 1, or some plates in mid-tier 1, and Bessa can start to hit on this top tier 1, and now they get themselves in a recall and a little bit of a better spot. It's now up to Nongshim RedForce to put down vision, get themselves in a good spot around this dragon that spawns at the same time as the Herald here. Kingen invest the teleport on top side, so we're going to probably just see the Noodle Boys go for some turret plates and get themselves some early gold coming on through.
Or they're going to go for a death brush onto Kratos. Shulong is nearby. Cyclone comes out from GIDEON. They're going to secure the Gromp. Good use of the clone, though, to make sure the Cocoon does not land a stun there. It's going to be a proxy on the top side here from Kingen. And, yeah, they're just farming plates here. Min-maxing the most out of the grubs. They steal a plate away just at the witching hour before plates drop off.
Okay. So, Kalix needs to be a bit careful. Yes, you are LeBlanc, but they're sending a lot of members. You can see that there's some pings. They know that Shulong is in the area. Kingen is also going to get himself a top tier 1. So first turret, despite everything that the Vikings have been able to accomplish, is still going to be going over. And I want to say, as much as we have been talking about the other representatives from LPL and LCK as expected favorites versus the LCP, I think that they have shown some pretty competitive games, all things considered. I mean, yesterday's series versus Weibo, while it ended up being a 2-0, there were moments that I think that we got to see the LCP representatives actually play some decent League of Legends. And here against Nongshim, the lowest ranked team coming in from the LCK, I think that this is a decent enough showing. We'll have to just see if they can execute around objectives and find the first game win here of the Asia Invitational.
Take a look at items. Everyone's on first item breakpoints. Just depends on your flavor of which ones you feel are stronger. You know, like Utah versus Essence Reaver. Actually, the BF sword for style does make him a lot bigger of a threat. Luden's a little bit over Blackfire Torch. Trinity Force versus Sundered Sky. Eclipse Stridebreaker. It's pretty even across the board, so I'm glad you're emphasizing the execution of when these fights break out. You might have thought it would be around the Rift Herald, but we saw in that last game the Vikings were happy to make kind of the trade, going for the secondary feast of whatever gripe Nongshim make, this time being the Herald. So they will get themselves on to 2 Drakes early here for could be a pretty pivotal soul depending on what we get, but GIDEON immediately wants to get a very valuable tier 2 turret. They're moving Jiwoo over as well. 4 members of Nongshim on the top side.
How much more can they get from this? They're going to crash it into the turret, so next play is going to be a little bit easier for them. Vikings are reinforcing, and look at what they're doing on the opposite side. Currently, Mbessa is on the bottom side. You have Gury, who is picking up mid, so they don't even get the turret. Nongshim are stalled out in this play, and I love this coming in from Vikings. I think they're responding with a lot of poise here in this game, and Nongshim are recognizing how hard it's going to be to actually make their pick composition work.
TP from Kalix to cover that bot turret on the bot turret nonetheless, so getting that TP out of LeBlanc is good. Kingen really wants that turret knocked down. He's trying to bring waves up and see if the minions can get it done for himself, but that would also cut away from the local gold, so it's not a really great sell here. Might stall out again and play a bit slower once again here, Alk, because not much to fight around. Otacon is going to be the next thing up in about 3.5 minutes, so maybe they try and make a dive work. But GIDEON is covering. Kingen, you think he's low HP, but he has dominance to lean on. He's going to pop it. But Style has damage of his own. Good spacing. King's going to flash. Doesn't stun him. Style flashes back, but Style's going to find this kill. Steps in. And in the mid lane, it's also Kati that picks off Lehends again.
There we go. This is a much better draft this time around, and maybe Kratos finds Kalix. He still has flash. He has distortion up in 2 seconds.
All right, first distort. Ooh, good flash wave below execution. Sonic wave, dash back. Kalix has to go away from his turret, though. This is what we know LeBlanc for. Really crafty, playing on the map, but Kalix should be as good as dead. Vikings all over the map right now, picking off kill after kill.
I mean, Kingen tried to make a play onto this Sivir. Doesn't end up happening. They try to make a play in mid. Shulong helps catch this in mid, so let's see how Lehends got caught. Yeah, I mean, who is Lehends supposed to hook in this game? Is it Malzahar? Probably not. Is it going to be Elise? Well, that's usually pretty tough. And even Lee Sin, the mobility that this champion has, the kick as well, can actually be pretty dangerous. So I think that Nongshim are realizing in real time, okay, well, we're not winning in some of our lanes. The only person who has been able to generate a large amount of a lead for himself is Kingen, but even that is starting to fall to the wayside here as the Vikings are making headway in this game, finding themselves a gold advantage here in game number 2. Maybe on the verge of being able to get a game win. We'll see still a lot of League of Legends still left to play here, but we've got Otacon spawning on the top side and a lot of flowers up there as well.
A lot of petals to take away here. Can anyone get to 2 items as the Otacon comes around? The timer for that next reset is soon to be here. I think Style might have the Infinity Edge done with that kill he was able to pick up. That'll be something to look for. Kati also has some serious gold resources under him. On top of that, Nether Grasp is going to land on its Jiwoo. Flashes away. The Redemption Heal doesn't come in time. Style picks up the kill, and Lehends falls next, and all bets are off now in the mid lane. GIDEON trying to cut away from Kratos, has to use the Cyclone. Kingen is coming down here. They're trying to spring a trap onto Kratos, who's going all in after GIDEON. They're going to walk him into Kingen. Public execution comes down, the stuns layer, but it's not going to be enough. GIDEON goes down. Shulong going to find the trade. Kalix dashes after him. Kratos very low. He's going to get rooted up by the LeBlanc. The solo lanes are the big bad wolves to deal with from Nongshim. But Gury's able to evade with the mobility and style this whole time, is knocking down very valuable structures. Oh, good dodge from the Rune. He ward hops back to the pink ward. Sorry, control ward. Gury out, though.
Style, walk up, hit. I mean, I get why. He's a little bit afraid that Kingen and Kalix are going to show up in mid lane. But that was a full turret going over to Style and multiple kills. This Malzahar is getting a lot of value. And I gotta say, Vikings are just playing a better game here from Nongshim. We go right into the replay. Jiwoo thinks that he can step up. He's not quite silenced, but There we go. It is Kati finding his moment. Jiwoo unable to survive. Boomerang blades come in and take him down. And with the bot lane duo of Nongshim falling, we get to see that Kratos trying to find this chase. They eventually get GIDEON, but you talked about it. The big bad here for Nongshim RedForce is the solo laners. Are they necessarily going to be able to get enough done here in this game? Is going to basically make or break Nongshim's game too.
And we're just going to keep the action up. Going to go right back towards this Otacon. 2 items on both these AD carries. 2 items on this Ambessa and this Renekton by this point. So those are the guys to look out for with a lot of this damage. Summoner-wise, a lot of valuable summoners up here. So there's a huge amount of outplay potential. And again, been a very great game from the Vikings. But when it comes to setups and fighting through them, Nongshim are definitely favor. The LCK just makes their bread and butter on that, as Lehends is going to get caught by Gury. The exhaust comes across, but they've knocked down Kati. GIDEON and Kalix have enough damage, and Shulong going to fall next. There's those solo lanes again. It's this time Kalix taking the head mantle. And everything's starting to crumble at a very unfortunate position, as it's going to be a 5 versus 3 likely brought on by Nongshim towards this Otacon.
Okay, Otacon, and you can already see that the Vikings, they don't even want to bother to contest for this. It is Kati respawning in 15, but they're going to go for the Dragon, and Mountain Dragon Soul here for, or Soul Point, I should note, for the Vikings. Kind of the last-ditch effort for them. If they can grab this, I do think that they have a very good chance of being able to win this game. A single mistake here is going to equalize a lot of this for the Noodle Boys. I don't know. Oh, God. Oh, the big traitor. It had the Vikings winning in the pregame. It's now on Nongshim. He is inching over towards MGN, but I don't think the LCP representatives are going to be too happy about Godhuo making his decision known here mid-game.
I think that last fight really showed how if Kati doesn't get a valuable Nether Grasp, it's really hard to play out these fights. Because you talked about it, right? The solo lanes, there's a lot of dipping, dashing, and dodging. Even the mobility of this Zeri. So the value of that single target lockdown is exponential. If Nongshim can play around that, denying that, maybe even punishing this Malzahar, killing him off early, it's hard for the Vikings to play out the rest of these fights.
Oh, and Jiwoo's really tough, tough spot here. Something that I think goes underappreciated or doesn't go talked about enough is item economy. Like, you only have 6 slots in your inventory to be able to buy items, and so Jiwoo going for Yuntal Wild Arrows into the Runons. If he doesn't go for Infinity Edge, I don't think he has enough damage, but if he doesn't take a QSS, he's not going to be able to cleanse the suppression coming on through from Kati. So there's going to be a large portion of this game where Nongshim do have to be a little bit wary and cognizant that if he has Flash, if the Nether Grasp is up, like you were mentioning, Vikings do have ways of being able to find plays. So now it is going to be the Vikings taking control back of their jungle, especially here on the top side. They're going to get themselves the top tier 1, which is nice gold. Remember, minute and a half before the Baron, 3 minutes before the Dragon. These next 2 objectives are going to basically dictate the next 10 minutes of gameplay.
The power, though, of these really long side lanes is going to allow for Nongshim, and especially Kalix, to lean into exactly what makes LeBlanc such a threat in these games. It's hiding in these jungle. You can see, look at the bot side, lit up with wards. The mid-tier 1 turret is the obvious target here for Nongshim, but Vikings have to be very wary about how they play around their own jungle. Kick from Gury, though. Sonic Wave coming across. Lehends is able to kind of just walk it out with a nice heal. So there's one ultimate off the line.
You could see Kati wanted it, man. He was trying to look for an ultimate. I think he was at barely max range there coming in from Gury. Doesn't have the flash either, so still we have Baron spawning in 50 seconds. We talked about how Nongshim put a lot of their investment onto the bottom side. Gonna have to move their vision over now, as Lehends was able to get a reset in and also clear out his, or restock his wards. So now it is Kingen who's going to clear this bottom side. He'll shift into mid, and that'll open up a spot here for Nongshim to start up this objective on the top side.
Kati looking for a reset. Let's see what he can buy in that front. Kingen, oh boy, laying a trap. He's been the 1v2 god on this rift, but it doesn't look like Gury's going to walk into it. Ooh, there's the Dominus pop. Does Jiwoo want to link up here for a little bit of their own 1v2 action? Kratos has no idea. Gonna get stunned up. Look for the first dash. Jiwoo gonna chase down. Has the ghost pop. There's lightning crash. Shulong can't hit the cocoon. It's Kratos flashing back over the wall. And that is another key flash coming off the board.
That's really good, actually. I mean, it's sad that Kratos doesn't have flash anymore, but he still has the public execution. You still will be able to make some plays happen around the map. That was the lightning crash coming down, so there will be a bit of time in between now and the dragon spawning where Jiwoo will be a little bit weaker than his opponents. I think all in all, the fact that Kratos also doesn't die does allow for the Vikings to still contest. I like the vision toggle that we're getting from our observers. Talked about how slippery and how dangerous Kalix can be on this LeBlanc if he's not spotted. And he also has the Banshee's Veil here, so trying to make sure that he can be very safe as well as untouchable from his opponents.
Yeah, it's just paying the Malzahar tax a bit right here with the Banshee's Veil. It's not like a QSS bailout, but it's enough to make sure the Conti can't just flash ult somebody. You got to get that off the board. Lehends, 1 versus 4, basically in front of all the Vikings, just poking and prodding them with these hooks. And they're trying to set up Kalix to do what this LeBlanc does best. It's whittle down these health bars so that when the Dominus comes out, the Cyclone, the Zeri, they're low enough, but there is a snap engage. Nether grasp into the public execution. Goodbye, Gideon, at a huge juncture. The Mountain Soul Dragon spawns in 30 seconds. Lehends is going to die as well.
Exactly. I mean, look, that was Kati Flash. We talked about it. You know what's funny? When we had Skarner, and especially when it was the point-and-click ult of the Skarner, everybody played the QSS tax. And it has been a while since we have been able to see Malzahar more available in pro play. But now everybody kind of forgetting about that. Gideon not paying the tax. Oh, Kingen's in a good flank.
All right, here's the Dominus. Kratos doesn't have flash. Remember, Cox is going to go after him. The Sterix needs a lot of value. Stuns layering. The root comes across. There's Jiwoo into the backline with a lightning crash. Gury is getting burned down. He has to flash over the wall first. Style, though, trying to turn out the damage with these bouncing boomerangs. Kingen goes in, goes back out. It's the repel through for Shulong. Kalix is trying to get back in with himself. Jiwoo gets the root, and it's Kalix and Jiwoo that are pushing to the maximum potential. Jiwoo kiting back. Kalix does not find the kill. Gury gets a big heal. It's a 1v1 for now, but Nongshim have reinforcements coming first, and Gideon is able to get back out on the map, and he is going to stall out that huge win con, and Kalix is going to be able to pop over the wall here. I don't know if he has enough damage to the root. He does. My word. Popped like a balloon is Gury.
Wow, look at the solo lanes of Nongshim, man. I mean, Kingen, the experience on this player, obviously a former world champion, and then the fresh rookie of Kalix comes through, and they make this fight amazing for Nongshim. Remember, this all starts with Gideon getting picked out of a lineup here. It's the flash ultimate from Kati, the public execution from Kratos, and we're saying, okay, 2 picks before the dragon spawns, that might just be Soul going over to the MGN Vikings. But then we see another monster flank, the side lanes coming into fruition for Nongshim. Kingen buying so much space, him and Kalix finding this pick onto Kratos. Obviously, Jiwoo slides in, has the lightning crash, but I just love what we get from the 2 different solo lanes of Nongshim to be able to win them this fight.
Oh, such a smart flash from Kalix. Gets the electrocute, is just enough, and lands the root onto this Malzahar. I mean, that is pristine LeBlanc gameplay. We already got to see Showmaker cook on this champion, but Kalix just repping the LCK, the way he's able to dip in and out of these fights. We saw in the picture-in-picture, Nongshim uses that momentum to get the Baron power play going for themselves. Maybe now they've finally gone over the pretty big hurdle that Vikings laid for them in this early and mid-game, and they're back in control of this game.
I just want to note for everybody at home how much of a difference I think this is for Nongshim. The fact that they're having Kalix lead them through the game. Again, replacement for Fisher coming in. I was pretty vocal that I think that Fisher was one of the worst players we saw in the LPL when he was playing. And now, I mean, Kalix obviously was just playing in Challengers at the beginning of this year. Comes in for LCK round 2.
Oh, there we go. Another Nether grasp. We're able to catch out and burn through Kalix. Just as you're talking about him, Hulk's Caster Curse comes through is enough for Nongshim to overcome here in this fight. Jiwoo's very low. Kingen land onto Kingen. He gets the McHale's, goes back forward, trying to find these low health bars, and that's a huge goal of the Meek to knock down Style. Shogun goes all out for Gideon. Doesn't find that kill. It's a quick double coming across for the big bad Croc. Gury's going to try and clean up. Gideon is very low, and Kati has the Renekton situated off towards the side. The Sundered Sky value is massive here as Gideon tries to find these kills. It's a trade between the Renekton and the Malzahar, and it's an ace for the Vikings.
They're able to get down all that damage. Kati with another ultimate tries to make a pick. It starts onto Kalix, and while Kingen is dealing with the backline of the Vikings, Gury gets a huge kick onto Gideon, kills Jiwoo with it, and then is just able to 1v2 versus what is very little damage coming on through from Nongshim. I don't know if they're able to spot this. What gets away? Wow. He gets the Malefic Visions
yeah, I was gonna say.
plus the ultimate, and I just want to watch Gury in the back end of this fight. Yes, it is Gideon with a huge ultimate knockup both times, but look at this Lee Sin. He is uninhibited on this fight the entire time. A single silence onto Jiwoo stops him. The ultimate knockup there alongside Shulong. And it's cool that Kingen is pulling in all this work. The solo lanes for Nongshim have to be big leaders here in this game. It is a tough draft to play here. And while you can't underestimate your opponents, I love to see that the LCP representatives are taking the LCK to task.
I mean, they just completely wiped out that Baron power play, right? You thought we were going to start knocking down tons of structures, the mid lane tier 2 turret, and now it's back to just throwing hands around, and the main timer is back in the Vikings' favor on minute 30. That's the next objective we're going to be looking at here. Another Mountain Soul. Unless Lehends has other plans, he's trying to route around Shulong, but he gets publicly executed by Kratos and TP to cover as well. Lehends continuing some head-scratching plays on a tough Blitzcrank game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so now they're going to be numbers disadvantage. It's a minute before the Dragon. Nongshim cannot lose any more members before this fight. And the only thing that I think is keeping them relevant in this game, aside from the gold leads in their solo lanes, is the fact that they have all of these long side lanes. We have not seen Vikings be that attentive to their lanes, and that is for good reason. They have an objective lead right now in this game, and every single dragon is going to come down and be very important to the game state. So again, we're singing the push and pull. Kingen and Kalix play the side lane, push these lanes out, force the Vikings to have to respond and fix them. Otherwise, you have a flank coming on through from a LeBlanc and a Renekton.
Well, they're definitely dropping that top wave. Pings, nobody answering. So Nongshim know the Vikings are fully stacked up, protecting their domain that is this bottom side river. And that nether grass can come out at any time here, and whoever gets caught by it, their death warrant is signed.
So Kingen's not showing. He's going to look to maybe pop up on this next wave. No, he's going to see if he can find a flank. He will get spotted out on this ward in the pixel. But very, very dangerous spot to find. It is so difficult for Lehends to get any kind of hooks here. There are Malzahar minions. There's a Sivir. There's a Malzahar spell shield, not including the Spiderlings as well. Kalix tries to find something. He has no Banshee's Veil, and this could be Soul coming on through for the MGN Vikings.
Oh, Gideon going to get hooked by Lehends. It's actually Kratos, excuse me. Gets poked down decent. Root's going to land. Mountain Drake the target now. Gideon needs to get in position to at least try 50-50 this, but Gury is going to look for the kick here. The steal comes across, though Gideon gets it, and Kalix jumps into the backline. Gets a ton of damage down. 2 GAs pop, but Jiwoo pops up out of nowhere and looks to call game. An instant triple kill, an instant classic performance for the Nongshim 80 carry in the Asia Invitational. He's going to pick himself up, not the Quadra, but maybe the fight and series sealing win for Nongshim.
They're going to try to go through topside here. They've got a wave and another one coming as well afterwards. Nongshim are trying to look to finish this one out. No mid-turrets necessary at this point. It's 3 minions plus the next minion wave. They do have 3 grubs, and there are some pretty decent death timers. 15 seconds before Shulong, 30 before we get to see Style and Kati.
Looks like it's the final march. It was such a brilliant game from the Vikings. Definitely showing that they need to be respected even as the lowest LCP representative. They made Nongshim sweat for 33 minutes, but that final minute is all that really matters. Nongshim sweep away our final match of the day.
Man, this is, god damn it, man. Like, this is a game that this is going to get lost in the annals of history, unfortunately. Fans are going to scoreboard watch. They're going to see it 2-0 and say about what expected. But those who watched, you will know. You will know that Nongshim were struggling against the LCP 5th seed here, and Vikings look like they could try to turn a couple of unfortunate fights back to back, and I do think that Kratos, unfortunately, was not the consistent force 2 games in a row.
I want to get a replay look back at that final Drake fight because the steal comes through. I just want to kind of hear you chop through what that final fight looks like. So when we get to that point, I'll have to remember that. Classic, I like to use the line LPL Gold Graph. I know there wasn't an LPL team here, but that is what a lot of our LPL game Gold Graphs looks like. Very back and forth here between our 2 squads. And
my stat from the start of the show, or at least when I got on, no one except the LCK beats the LCK here at the Asian Invitational. So,
but it was close.
It was very close. I was kind of sweating. I was expecting maybe we get into a game 3 here. And maybe it's just those fine margins, right? Like, that has always been what has been kind of the cut above for any team looking to take down the LCK at International. It has always been that one extra step historically, even not just the LCP, but North America, Europe, even the LPL at times, right? Like, it's just that 1% play, and maybe that's not even just a regional difference. That might just be level of play, you know, the in-game shot calling as well. I am really proud of what the Noodle Boys showed in their solo lanes. Kingen was a pretty big liability in their series last night versus BNK Fearex, but the highs of this team just get to show out. Again, and the guy that I'm glad you kind of were able to sell on in this game as it went on is Kalix, who was in such a different position job-wise at the start of the year to now. Yes, the ASI is a bit for fun. We heard that not a lot of teams are scrimming, but Kalix went from the LCK Challengers to now having, you know, player of the game-esque performances on an international stage. No matter what you want to label the ASI, it is an international. So what a year it's been for a young prodigy mid laner that the LCK will have to learn a lot more about as the years go. I just hope that he gets like a real starting spot on a decent roster, because it's tough when you are a new player and you join halfway through the year. That is just the unfortunate part. He joined pretty early on into their spring split, aka LCK rounds 1 and 2, about a week after the start of that tournament, so kind of makes sense. But for Kalix, what I am looking for this player is a full year starting time, because I think he's at least shown that not just in regional play, but here at ASI. And on a LeBlanc that we haven't seen all year long. It's not like he's gotten too much practice. No, and he made it work here. You're going to see it towards the end of some of these fights, but you called it out. The Gury kick here. Kati, the snap engages on the Malzahar, playing right on the edge of his range. It really took everything Kingen had to save some of these fights from being pretty disastrous for the Noodle Boys. Kingen was absolutely smurfing in this game. I mean, he had counter pick, right? And it wasn't even like it was a self-prescribed counter pick from the Vikings. And Renekton was incredibly difficult. So hook onto Kratos. This is another reason why I think we got to see this team kind of struggle here in this fight. Jiwoo's also not getting hit during this entire time. And that right there, that Ultra Shock laser coming laser from Jiwoo gets rid of the spell shield from Kati, as well as the spell shield from Style. So not having that invulnerability, kind of tough. A lot of damage coming in from Jiwoo. A very hype prospect when he joined this team in 2023, but hasn't always lived up to some of the hype that we have seen from him in years past. Yeah, but I mean, that's the AD carry. That's what we dream about as AD carry players, flashing into a pile of players and everyone running the other way. Like that's what you like to see here. Yeah, we thought Kingen maybe should have gotten the MVP in game number 1 with his Aatrox skin. Well, he gets it here on the Renekton game wrecker, like you called out here for Nongshim, saving them from dropping a rare game Korea has towards the LCP, but that will not be the case here. We actually go on day 2 of the ASI, 3 sweeps. I am so happy that my jinxing tweet worked for my vocal cords. Well, also, we only have one team locked in for the playoffs or the knockouts now. It is only BNK Fearex that cannot get lower than 2-1. Now, there are some things left up. It's not 100% locked because Vikings still have another game that they have to be able to play. It was the Vikings' very first series to play. Ninjas in Pajamas also will be playing. So I look at tomorrow's matches. JDG will have their final series, and it is up against GAM. NIP versus the Vikings. That is essentially going to determine who is 4th seed in this group. And D plus Kia taking on Weibo. That'll be Weibo's last series of the tournament.
Yeah, so a lot of big hitters in the Eastern region are going to be finishing their calendar year coming up tomorrow with that action. You'll have myself and Ulk covering it, but of course the pairing will be split apart here. We'll have Mazel and K-Man come in. I will complete my little gauntlet run of ASI coverage with K-Man, JDG GAM, the first series there, as we look to wind down our day today. Of course, we, as always here on the LPL English, have a very special shout-out that we do have to give away, and that is to our Elite Coffee supporters. So thank you very much to Aaron Soup, Mong, and Forest Without, and owners of Asil Moril. Their pledged financial contributions help level up the broadcast and give back to the cast and crew who strive to give you an LPL English product every day, including the Asia Invitational here. So big shout out again, once again. I'm going to just plug it in the chat. You can find a coffee link to support us. It is the lifeblood of what has allowed us to cast 857 LPL games.
There we go.
Put in just so much work here. It would not be possible without not just the coffee supporters, that really helps too, but all of you that turn out to view. And it's really been an honor, all to see all these like recurring chatters that we've been able to go back and forth with. It feels like we've really built such a fun community, and Alk, of course, you being such a huge part of that. Cannot endlessly stop thanking you for what you've done for us casters and the community of LPL fans.
No, this is again a broadcast and a project that has been built by fans. Also, as you can see, unlike yesterday, our producer is awake. Adam is still here, so I want to give it. He made it. Everybody,
Woo!
Please give him a round of applause. We will not have the stream kind of close out on some reruns of the Asia Invitational.
And the caster's just disappearing into the void.
Yeah, exactly. And the caster's also just leaving the Discord call as well as all of our setups. So I want to thank everybody at home for watching. We're going to have more games. We're going to have the same schedule. So please stay tuned to all of our socials, even if we are shadow banned on Twitter. It has been myself, Alk, we have Slayer, and Rare Adam, as well as all of our socials and mod team to make this happen here. Everyone have a good night. We'll see you more for tomorrow for more Asia Invitational.